Hello and welcome to Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, the premier flagship and international podcast of LRM Online. I'm your host, Brandon Jones, and I've got a conehead, apparently. I'm here with all of the lads. We did it, guys. We're all back. We have a quorum. The fourth. Woo! Shout.
I think quorum is 3/4.
No. For us to vote, we have to have all of us.
Okay,
like,
that's fair.
What are we voting on?
Yeah, what are we voting on?
Who to kick off the podcast?
Again, dentist boy, I don't know if you want to bring that up. I don't know if you want that to be the vote.
They're supposed to call me on Thursday. They called me an hour before and we're like, sorry, we didn't call you the day before.
No, Nick,
so when
Nick,
they called you, when they called you, did they call you on a house phone?
My cell phone at like 11.
So your cell phone, your
Yeah.
supercomputer, that also has a calendar function on it.
Don't use it.
That's not an excuse. So wait, literally, here it is. Here's the reality, though. If they had called you on Wednesday, you still would have told us on Wednesday that you can't be there on Friday.
Yeah.
It would change nothing. Nothing would have changed. You still wouldn't have been there because you forgot about your dentist appointment.
But you would have known more than like 45 minutes in advance. Anyway, on with the show.
I was walking around a hotel in Athens carrying my laptop looking like a lost boy, talking at a screen, but no one was talking back to me. So they thought I was a fucking nut job over there.
It was sad. It was,
I feel like we're in an age with AirPods and like other Bluetooth headphones where you can just walk around and be schizophrenic and no one would actually know. They would just assume you're talking to someone. There's somebody on the other end.
I used to agree that it's like, is that guy homeless or is he on a phone call?
You'll never know.
Jesus.
Hey, I think the same
talking
thing.
to yourself doesn't mean you can't be. You might have a home still.
True, I talk to myself.
If you talk to yourself, doesn't mean you're homeless. Come on.
Especially during Smash Brothers.
Okay, so Jonesy's bringing up some deep fucking cuts. I don't think we ever brought it up on the podcast.
No, we never.
So when Jonesy visited Nick and I.
Gaming is supposed to be social.
No. We were playing Smash Brothers on the couch. And as Jonesy and I are playing, honestly, I think the most admirable part was just Jonesy's response. So let me get through the whole story before anyone jumps into here. It's not that long. But essentially, as we're playing and we're like in a heated battle, maybe not for Jonesy because he's way better than I am, but for me, I'm like concentrating really hard to try to beat him because I'm terrible at it. As it's happening, Nick is constantly talking
mile a minute,
random bullshit, mile a minute, and not just mile a minute of just like monologue, but like a mile a minute of things that require input from us. But even if he didn't get it, he kept going. And at one point, in the calmest, most level-headed like way, Jonesy was just like, you know, Nick, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not listening to a word you're saying. Like that's seriously he was playing and.
I kept going.
I bust up laughing because I was concentrating so hard, and the whole time I was thinking I wanted to say, "Nick, shut the fuck up! I'm trying to play right now," but I didn't. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't multitask enough to say.
Gaming is supposed to be social, and that's my final
It
comment.
is, but I feel like sometimes it's like you could talk and be social, but in certain heated moments, it's read the room.
You know I can't.
That
read.
was one of.
We're literally on our last lives, like fighting. Just like non sequitur after non sequitur. Anyway.
Oh God. Sorry.
On with the show.
On with the show.
What are we talking about today?
I don't know. We spent a good 5 minutes flogging Nick. I feel like we should move on. In today's show, we're going to be having a conversation about Nick Cage's latest film, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. But before that, we've got several news stories to get through. There's a lot that happened this week since we left you guys, but we're going to focus on just a few things. The biggest one actually, there are two big ones. The Ezra Miller story is a continuing story. The last time we had a conversation about it, there was only one assault that occurred in Hawaii at the end of March. Now, as of the middle of April, so April 19th, we've had another one. And this one involves Miller. It seems like he may or may not have been intoxicated at the time. But shortly after 1 a.m. on Tuesday, he got into an altercation where he was asked to leave. And instead of leaving, he launched a chair at some folks, and he ended up striking a 26-year-old female in the forehead. And that resulted in a half-inch cut on her head. And so as of right now, there hasn't been any statement, no conversation, no nothing that we've heard from DC or Warner Brothers as of right now, as of this recording. But part of the conversation we were having last time was about the future of Ezra Miller in the DC universe or the Harry Potter universe, because there were reports that after the first assault, there was an emergency meeting being had about his future. Then we heard another contradictory report saying, hey, no, that's overblown. That's not happening. Nick was like, no, we should believe that second report. And so I guess we're kind of at the point now where, like, if they're not actually having emergency meetings, they should be. And given that we talked about Fantastic Beasts last week, and we didn't really address this as we reviewed the movie, Jammer and I'm curious what
that didn't stop us from getting accused about talking about the controversies. Some random comment was talking about.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, it was some random comment was just like, oh, you don't even like. I don't know. For some reason, they were acting as if we only talked about the controversy. When for some reason we didn't bring it up in passing, not even in the slightest. So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I was super glitchy Maru last week, and I was just like, let's just talk about this movie and all the extraneous stuff we'll get to later. And so I could not even concentrate enough to focus on it. And so, given that my internet seems stable, let's talk about the future of Ezra. Seems, allegedly. Let's have a conversation about Ezra Miller and the DCU and the Fantastic Beasts world, because, like I said, if they're not having meetings, emergency meetings, or meetings about him generally, they should be. And so I'm curious what you guys think they're going to do, given what we know now in this second assault, because I've got thoughts, but I want to hear you guys go first.
I shall go.
First. Okay, go.
Shotgun. What's interesting about Fantastic Beasts, I guess this is a minor spoiler. Oh, I guess spoilers real quick. Jump 2 minutes or whatever. I can't believe that it felt like they didn't even touch the end of his story. He just suddenly was unimportant and they moved on to the wedding. And it's like, it could easily be written out.
You explained 2 or 3 different aspects of that movie where they just brushed off things from the previous movie. So I
feel like he's easily removed from that. And with Discovery, Warner Brothers looking to shake things up, supposedly. And also
for DC, though, right?
Now I'm talking about DC. As far as DC, Discovery talked about overhauling shit. I don't see why they could easily get rid of him out of that, too.
I mean, okay, so you think they're going to get rid of him?
I don't see why. I think you kind of have to at this point. Like, if it's once, like Anthony Starr being Homelander in real life, then it's like, okay, actors misbehave sometimes. But if it's a continuing problem, what
has
everybody gets one
WB?
Peter.
Yeah,
has WB ever reacted to anything? Anything? I guess other than Johnny Depp.
And so I think that's the problem, right? That's the precedent. And especially the fact that Johnny Depp is in the news right now. I don't think that they can do nothing. And so this was going to be my comment. I think the fact that Johnny Depp is so prominently in the news right now, as well as the fact that Fantastic Beasts was just released, and they didn't even address the fact that they recast his character, but certainly he was recast based on what happened between him and Amber Heard. And if you're following the trial, or if you paid any attention to any of the voice messages that came out before that happened, you were kind of less inclined to think that maybe he should have been pulled off. But now, given what's happening with Ezra Miller, you almost have to, as a response.
Yeah, but I feel like they've also proven they could do nothing for a long time.
Sure.
I mean, Johnny Depp, when did that first come out? 2017? Something like that?
Yeah,
2000.
I think the difference is
like
5 years.
Before 4
5
times.
years.
I think the difference is this. It was, and so I'm going to use this phrase, even though I hate it. It was he said, she said, right? And the truth of what happened wasn't readily apparent. Here we have multiple arrests in addition to that incident that happened a couple of years ago with Ezra Miller. And I think it is easier to go from flash to bang on this than it is where you're trying to suss out what happened in a domestic dispute. Does that make sense?
Was that a pun? Flash and bang? Was that a pun?
No.
No, what should have been? Good job.
And so Kyle just dropped in the chat that Heard made the initial accusation in 2016.
Oh,
And
wow.
I think that the other
Okay,
difference is there was not, I haven't heard anybody from WB come out in support of Ezra Miller versus Johnny Depp, where you had multiple people saying like, hey, it's not what you think it is. You had the showrunner, the writer of Fantastic Beasts, J.K. Rowling, saying like, no, this is our guy. Like, this is who we want. And so there was a level of support for him that we have not seen for Ezra Miller.
it's true.
I'm sure they're restore the Snyderverse fans who would disagree. They have all the support.
What does that have to do with this?
I mean, you know, they want to keep Ezra Miller. They want Ben Affleck back for a solo Batman movie, even though he's the one who doesn't want to do it. I'm talking about the
But that's not related.
hashtag
Though.
restore the Snyderverse.
This is not related to somebody who's done something wrong, though.
Yeah, how many people did Ben Affleck slap? What are you talking about?
Does Ben Affleck have to slap a bitch?
Apparently,
what's happening?
I don't know what. Danny, what are your thoughts and feelings about any of this controversy?
Yeah, I'm with you on this one, Jonesy. I think, buddy, I think the he said, she said, like you said, was he said, she said, like you said, was a
That's
little
pretty good.
bit more. It gave Johnny Depp's situation, or it made Johnny Depp's situation very different to this one. Right now, we've got Ezra Miller that, as far as I know, it's absolutely him. He absolutely did do these things and was arrested for it, and so there's no real grey area or excuse or anything. And unfortunately, with Fantastic Beasts not doing that well either, I don't know what the current box office numbers are. It's difficult to see that moving forwards in any big way. I think they will unfortunately make a decision and say thanks, but no thanks. We won't see you in number 4. And I haven't seen number 3 yet, so I can't comment on what you guys saw. I avoided last week's chit chat about whether or not his character in this one was already kind of forgotten about and stuff. So yeah, unfortunately, I think Warner Brothers will do something this time. Whether or not they should or not, I don't know. The guy needs some help. You know, the guy needs someone to, you know, look after him, and maybe having time away from these big franchises will actually help him, because there's a lot of pressure that comes with these roles, right? There's a lot of eyes, there's a lot of money, there's a lot at stake, and maybe that's part of what the challenges he's having. So I hope he gets the help, and maybe cutting him off these 2 franchises for now will give him time and space to get that help.
Yeah, it's disappointing. I mean, there is a lot of pressure that comes with it, but it's just so like I guess I have less hope than you do. I think something should be done. I think they should take him off. As much as I actually enjoy his Flash and I'm interested in the Flash movie. Like he's fine in Fantastic Beasts, but the role itself sucks. So there's that. But I don't have faith that they're going to do anything, because I think they've proven that they can pretty much do nothing for a long time and have almost no repercussions. Like at the end of the day, no negative repercussions. I don't think Johnny Depp hurt Fantastic Beasts. I think Fantastic Beasts hurt Fantastic Beasts. They haven't done anything with Amber Heard. Like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't expect them to do anything. It seems like they're just more content to say nothing, do nothing. See no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil, all that shit. I don't even know if that expression applies. I don't even know what that expression means, but
I mean, it kind of does, right?
Yeah.
It seems like the idea that the corporation is going to stick their head in the sand for as long as they possibly can. And it's funny,
right? Because they haven't said anything. They still haven't said anything.
I think it's interesting that you brought up.
It's been like a month.
Amber
It's been a
Heard.
month of almost nonstop news.
I remember when the accusations about Amber Heard seemed to her accusations against Johnny Depp seemed to turn as the audio files came out where he recorded her, where she admitted to slapping and hitting him. and there were people saying there were rumors that WB was going to excise her from Aquaman and things of that nature. It'll be really interesting to see what, if anything, WB does with that going forward. They cannot get their shit together with their cinematic universe. Like, it's crazy to me that the people that, like, we were having a conversation, I think, Jammer, you and I last week, about the folks that they keep picking at the top can't seem to get anything together. And now it seems like the people even within the universe either don't want to keep going forward like Ben Affleck, or just fuck up and are going to be pushed aside, or the organization itself does something. And like Ray Fisher, they're just out there. And I find that to be fast. I've never seen this level of
or
dysfunction.
inexplicably he does nothing wrong and also is not a part of the future Henry Cavill.
Yeah, it is crazy to me. And I don't think I have ever seen this level of dysfunction. I can't.
Sony.
It's weird.
So Sony's different. Oh.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between making bad movies and you have personality conflicts and people just self-selecting to be removed from the franchise. That's not the same thing as making shitty movies.
I know, I was just kidding. For Kyle's sake, who's
I'm surprised I didn't see a fist pump from Kyle.
Oh, he did. He clapped. He's on the ones and twos, clapping very loudly. Those Mikey's.
Okay.
So screw Sony.
That's all for another podcast with me.
Proper screw. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. Jammer, did you have anything else? I know I jumped in on your thought.
I mean, no, I think my main thought was I don't think they're going to do anything because they haven't. There's been, like I said, a month of solid Ezra Miller news. They haven't said anything. Maybe, I guess you could say they're waiting for Fantastic Beasts to come out, but it's come out. Did the report come out after?
Yes.
The new
Second
report
one
come
did.
out after? Yeah,
Yeah,
second.
so-
There's
Tuesday, you said.
it's almost too late. It's like, and they're just not going to say anything.
I just think they'll sit on it for a little bit and then they'll say something.
Why? What's there to sit on? I mean, I guess that's a
destroying the
stupid
Flash.
question.
Before it comes
But I
out.
mean, they're gonna the Flash comes out in a year. What are they gonna
That's
sit on
true.
it for a year plus? Are
I
they
know
gonna
what
they
the delay
gonna
is.
Kevin Spacey him out?
No, so here's what's happening.
It's
The
much
delay is the
bigger.
fact that there is a new leadership there,
Mm.
and they're trying to figure out what to do. They're waiting for the dust to settle on this leadership changeover and all those things. And then once that happens, I think they're going to make a decision at that point. So it's hard for us on the outside not to see this just like as a monolithic corporation. But as you and I were talking about last week, just the new leadership coming in and doing a shakeup, and Nick brought it up today. And I think that that's the thing that's taking time to percolate before they figure out exactly what they're going to do. They don't want to jump ahead too fast.
Did they ever?
Yeah, I guess they don't want to pull a Disney with James Gunn, right? But I mean, they've already
And
gone
then
past
Warner
that point.
Brothers picked him up immediately. So maybe they don't have ethics.
What
Did
about you,
they ever
Danny?
make
Sorry.
a comment about Ray Fisher? Sorry, yeah, don't. Did they ever make comments about Ray Fisher? Was that ever addressed from Warner Brothers themselves? Any of that?
Little bit. I remember there were some statements, and I'm trying to remember, was it part of the investigation that got released later?
Gotcha. Because I don't remember them ever saying anything about J.K. Rowling either, with the controversy about the LGBT
No.
stuff, and that was clearly a Fantastic Beasts Warner Brothers thing, right? You've got this one of their main flagships and their writers involved in that, and they didn't make a comment on that. I can't remember about the Ray Fisher one. So they do have a history of not saying anything and hopefully letting it get sort of forgotten
The
about.
closest they did with
So
Ray
somebody's-
Fisher was actually trying to discredit him.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
the closest they
That's what I
did.
thought.
Somebody's going to punch me in the face for this, but I can distinguish J.K. Rowling versus Ezra Miller or even Ray Fisher. J.K.
Right.
Rowling said something that people disagree with. That's not
Right.
the same thing as assault.
No, fair enough. That's a fair comment. Yeah.
And I think that Ray Fisher, like, the Warner Brothers is being attacked, so they defended themselves, or they felt like they were
Right.
being attacked. Turns
So
out,
they're
like,
taking-
no, you were the asshole the whole time.
I mean, they were
So
being
each
attacked,
case
but
is
it
different.
wasn't,
This one is
it was warranted.
They were being
my
attacked with the
opinion.
truth. I don't know if that's a thing.
That's fair. It's a good point.
Beat about the head with the truth of the matter. I don't know. But yeah, Anything else? Any other deep thoughts about this before we move on to our other big story?
All good.
Negative.
All good. All right. Let's talk about another entity that's not doing so well, Netflix. Netflix is kind of getting its ass kicked right now. And it looks as though, so to set up the story, on Wednesday of this past week, they lost 35% of their market share. What that actually means is that they basically lost $50 billion in their market cap. And right
just
now,
on Wednesday.
just on Wednesday. Yes.
The Tuesday was fine. It was just Wednesday. They
were fine. It was like, they woke up.
Everyone subscribed to Apple on Wednesdays.
So there were a couple of things that happened.
Payday or something in the US.
They lost $50 billion of their market cap. And basically what that means is their overall valuation. They currently sit at about 95.6 or 96.9. It's still high as hell, but if somebody wanted to come in and buy them, they could basically buy for less than $100 billion, which, if you've got that kind of money, go forth. And,
Wait,
do things. What?
Wait, so how much did you say they're selling for? The stocks?
No, not the stock price, their market capitalization. So those are two different things.
I just misunderstood.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
I was like, it's not that low. It's not 95 a share. I was about to go like, what?
Let me get my Robin Hood out. And so, they've lost tens of billions of dollars. And part of this is based on a report that they released for this quarter. Yes. So at the earnings call, it looks like they projected that they were going to gain 2.5 million subscribers. Turns out that they actually lost 200,000. That's I don't know if you can do the net loss on that very quickly in your head. That's a significant difference if you thought you're going to get 2.5 and you ended up losing 200,000. In addition to that, what they're saying is that there are at least 100 million households that are sharing passwords. And so they're saying that is actually cutting into their dollars and subscribers that they currently have. So it's looking not good for them, but here's the other side of that. They're still sitting at 200 million plus subscribers. In addition to that, way back in March of 2020, if you can remember back that far, round about the pandemic time, they grew. They gained 16 million subscribers in the quarter that ended in March of 2020, and that's based on pandemic consumption. And so there's a part of me that wonders, are we settling back into quote unquote normal, or does this forebode some actual trouble? And one of the other things I was going to add to that is Netflix, like a lot of other corporations, pulled out of Russia. And so that constituted a loss of 700,000 subscribers to the service as well. So that adds to just to the trouble that they're facing, but I don't think that anybody would really hold that against them. So
they wouldn't have had a loss though if it wasn't for Russia. It would have been like, my guess, I think if I recall, like around a few 100,000 increase, which is still substantially lower than the 2.5 million.
Correct.
Sorry?
You're right. It would have been 500,000 just based on that maths that Jonesy said earlier with the loss and that. They would have been 500,000 up. You're right. Not the 2.5 million, or 2.5 million they were looking for, but it would have been a plus. There's no doubt that Russia thing hit them hard as far as those numbers are concerned. But yeah, so I don't know. My thoughts on it, Jonesy, or are you done there, brother? Or
you already got the conch. Jump in.
So I get a feeling it's a little bit of both. I think things are settling. I think as things have reached a certain normality in most of the world, I think things are settling. I do think also that you've also got the strength of the other streaming platforms. I'm fucking loving Amazon and Apple at the moment. I think word of mouth and their shows have been slowly grinding forwards and gaining a few subscribers month on. So I think a combination of the big thing with the Russia taking a hit, other streaming services doing such good jobs and banging out quality shows, and Netflix did invest a shit ton of money when they were making films for 150 million and all that kind of stuff. So I have no doubt that it's a mixture of all those things put together. But I do think it's a settling period for a year or two, and then we'll see who truly is the the leader, so to speak. But that's what I think. I think it's settling. Other streaming services doing really well and showing good quality content, and so I don't think it's too much for them to worry about. But I've got some comments about how they've handled their franchises, but we can talk about that afterwards if you like, because that would certainly help their bottom line. Forget the subscribers, but it certainly would have helped their bottom line.
Yeah, as Kyle pointed out, they're spending $30 million an episode on Stranger Things. So I can't imagine that. So while this story isn't necessarily about the expenditure of money, it does have an impact in terms of how much they're charging subscribers. And so we've had conversations multiple times over the course of this podcast as they've done more and more price hikes. And so to your point, Danny, and to Kyle's information, the $30 million that they're spending on Stranger Things episodes, where before they were spending like $10 million an episode. Now that significant increase is being passed on to us, the consumers. And so that's definitely impacting their bottom line.
Yeah. Just on the franchise thing. Oh. Sorry, yeah, go, Joe. So go ahead. I'll save that for afterwards, Joe.
So yeah, this is, as you all have pointed out, like I've just been typing in like all of the different factors. This is no one thing. There are at least a handful or more of huge factors. You know, one of these factors could have been a big deal, but there are several. So we have, of course, the Russia pullout. Well, yeah, no one can blame them, but that's what, 800,000 subscribers or something along the lines of that. So not insignificant. Post-COVID settling, as it's no longer, we're not staying home nearly as much as we used to. We don't have unlimited time. And then, of course, increased competition. Disney Plus, Apple, HBO Max, all those streaming services are coming to fruition. As Danny pointed out, Apple is killing it. For me personally, Apple, Disney Plus, and HBO Max, those are the streaming services. You agree now because you now have Apple?
I've watched I've always had it. I watched like 3 series. I finished 3 series in like this last week on Apple. So
good job. Yeah. So there's a lot of great competition. The price hikes is another one. They just keep on increasing that. And it's the highest price service out there. Mostly, I think they have one that's underneath HBO Max at this point. But HBO Max, and this goes to another problem, has something they don't have: legitimate franchises. And that's just a problem with how they handle their franchises. Yes, they have Stranger Things. Yes, they have The Witcher, but I don't associate them as like Netflix franchise. They don't feel like they're capitalized as much as they really should be. And I think that has everything to do with them, their shovelware approach. Their shovelware approach, where you just drop shit on the platform and then let people discover it, which worked 5 years ago, but doesn't really work in today's day and age when there's so much content. You need to like literally have that time to let it sink in. You know, if you drop it one day and people love it for a week or two, great. But then those other people, it won't have time to mature within the pop culture zeitgeist. And it's an overall issue. So yeah, we are in a settling phase right now with just the streaming wars in general. That's like just the other big thing. And it's no longer enough just to have the most content out there. You have to have the most highest profile content out there. You know, Disney Plus doesn't have a lot of content in terms of like new stuff, but it does have all of the Marvel and all of the Star Wars and all of the making of stuff and all of the big franchise things that we love. HBO Max, they have the DC stuff. They have the high profile HBO shows that, you know, HBO has always done, and among other things. And then Apple is somehow dark horsing it and just putting out unfiltered quality shit out of nowhere.
Oscar-winning content.
Oscar, you're right. Oscar-winning
even like
content.
Hulu is up their game a lot, I would say, just in the past year.
Oh, have they? I have not really
shows,
been Hulu privy.
Like HBO quality shows on Hulu recently.
Okay, so yeah, the point is the competition is stiffer than ever, and unfortunately, Netflix's shovelware approach just doesn't work. They don't make us. I'm not excited when I open Netflix. Frankly, it's Netflix when I want to watch something that's been out for a while. They try to throw a bunch of stuff on my screen, but it's nothing that is super. I'm not driven to watch it. Even the shows that I've loved and I haven't gone back to, like I haven't watched seasons 3 of Sex Education or Master of None. I liked most of those shows a lot, but I just haven't gotten back to them because when they drop, it just in and out, boom, in and out, boom. Like it was a huge, it sucked. It was Netflix, get your shit together. But I think this is even deeper than that. I think it has to do with, I think this is indicative of the peaking of the streaming programming stuff, just being able to throw money at big streaming properties without any real logic as to how it affects the bottom line. And as I think Danny pointed out, like all the $150 million movies they did, putting out like 50 of those a year or however many it was. It's just, when you have a world where you are essentially in every single household that you're probably going to get into, like, what did you say? There's was it 200 million accounts in the US, or is that worldwide?
It did not specify. So
it did not specify.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you talking about people sharing, or are you talking about that own? Okay. Yeah. So owning, using a Netflix account, it's 200 million.
In the world or in the US? Worldwide.
I'm pretty sure it's worldwide.
Is it worldwide? Okay, cool. But yeah, if there's 100 million in the US that are sharing passwords, that's like a third of the population right there. Like, you're not really gonna penetrate much further in unless you just start pulling away value almost. It's really weird. They really just hit like a saturation point where just throwing money at problems isn't going to fix. They have to be more strategic about it. And I think this is a problem that all the streamers are going to have one way or another down the line. And I don't know what this means for what shows are going to look like going forward. But we're already seeing, like, on Netflix, people talk about Netflix canceling shows after 2 or 3 seasons. We're going to be seeing that across the board all around. And we're going to see, I think, a drop in budgets because you just got to be able to justify these expenses. And it's no longer, the .com bubble has burst essentially, or it's on the verge of bursting. And I think Netflix is sort of the harbinger of what's to come for everybody. And they need to start justifying their expenses with actual numbers very soon. That was a lot. I think I rambled quite a bit, but hopefully there was
all true.
No, that made sense.
A coherent.
I think one of the things that sucks for them is that they, I just lost the thread I was going to say. It's that this is the first time that they've lost subscribers in over a decade. So it's just a confluence of bad things between the money that they're spending on things, the price hikes, and the war in Russia. It's all the bad happening at once. Nick, what you got?
All right. Maybe Kyle can look this up while I'm talking about it, because I thought I read in an article that they already ran a test program in Latin America that you can share accounts, but it's going to be a higher price to share. So
you add $3 that you would be able. So in Latin America,
$3 per account.
Yeah, I don't remember how they broke it out, but it's like adding $3, and you'd be able to do that for people that don't live in your household. That's the pilot program.
That's not too bad, I guess. But here's Netflix's real problem, in my opinion. I mean, it has to do, like what Jammer said, of dropping it all at once. But it's like, I only need Netflix like 3 months a year. I can cancel it the rest of the year. Like, I need it for Stranger Things, Russian Doll, Knives Out, and that Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans movie. It's like, I can cancel it the rest of the time. I just watch shit like Seinfeld on there. So that's, my family's planning on doing that if they add the price or get rid of sharing. Is it's like, we'll just get it for a month and then we'll leave and we'll come back for the next half of Stranger Things, and then we'll leave, then we'll come back for Knives Out. Because there's not enough content there that is quality to justify owning it all the time if it's too expensive and they won't let you share it with other people. Because my family splits all the streaming services, and I have Apple TV due to my friend. And it's like, I'm thinking back during the pandemic, I can only think of 2 shows that were like A+ as far as like I enjoyed them and they got a lot of viewers. And all I can think of is Squid Games and Tiger King. Otherwise, I don't remember watching anything great on Netflix except for my true crime shows. That's
Arcane.
True. Haven't seen Arcane, so
fuck you with the Cowboy Bebop. So thanks, Kyle, dropping in the chat. So it looks like it's $3 per account. So each with their own profile. That would be the $3.
Not doing that.
I think what's crazy about this is like all of those people that are on the password sharing. This is essentially an extended free trial. And what it tells me is if they haven't converted to folks that are willing to pay for it, that, as all of you have noted, the quality of the stuff that Netflix is putting out isn't such that it would grab them. Because I think comparatively with Apple TV, at some point I was like, no, I'm watching all of this stuff all the time. Give it. And so I converted from, oh, you bought an iPhone, here's your free subscription to Apple TV, to like, okay, now I need to pay for this because I am really enjoying everything that I'm watching.
Yeah, that's where I hit too. Like I was just like, like when the year came up, when the year was up after I bought, I don't remember what I bought. I think it was I don't know what it was. But when the year came up, I was just like, shit, I guess I have to pay $4.99 or however much it is a month. That's just an expense that I had. And it's really interesting because I think in around 2017 or 2018, I even on not this podcast, but those Fanboys podcast back when that was around, I was just like, there are two subscription services streaming services that I subscribe to. And one of them is Netflix. Like I will never cancel my Netflix subscription. And now I'm at the point where it's just like, maybe I'll pull it, I'll just like Nick said, just have it a few months a year at specific times if it gets to the point where it's that much of a hassle. Because it's like just nothing. Yeah. It's just not, it doesn't seem like it has the hard-hitting franchises like the others. And as much as everybody talks about it like original shit, Netflix puts out like most of the original shit out there. No one watches it. So
I do think now the pandemic is pretty much over. The releasing one episode a week thing is just fantastic. It works well for Disney with the Marvel shows. It works well with Apple. We don't have the time anymore to binge watch stuff. So we get this one episode a week. We get to talk about it. It stays in the environment. It stays in the atmosphere. People are chatting about it for a whole week. And like you just said, you get your free subscription and you've already plowed through 6 weeks. You've watched these shows for 6 weeks, not just one afternoon on one rainy Saturday afternoon. And all the signs are pointing to that's a better model and a better way of doing things. And Netflix is going to have to change. Do you think that they will change to that model of?
Well, they have, right? So I think it was Jammer.
It depends.
No, I was going to say, so depending on what show it is.
Right.
So Jammer, you brought up Arcane. Arcane released, I think, in 3-episode chunks. It was not a dump. And it'll be interesting if we stop calling shows seasons, because like we talked about with Stranger Things, that's being released in like bulk chunks.
But they did do 2, which is interesting. Like releasing it in 2 parts does kind of extend the
and so that's what I'm saying. Like that is a change. And so it'd be interesting if they stop calling it a season or like whatever they're going to do to do that. But they're trying something. I don't know if it's in response to this, but it seems like they're doing different things. Like also other streamers have experimented and done this. So like Amazon, the show Outer Range right now with Josh Brolin that we talked about. Yeah. It looks like it's releasing 2 episodes a week. And so
I've seen Hulu and Amazon drop 3 episodes and then make you wait week to week.
Yeah. I think 2 to 3 episodes is like, that's the money spot. I think that people are willing to sit there to watch 2 to 3 episodes of a 45 to 50-minute show and then be fine waiting a week.
Give me 2 episodes initially, 2 episodes initially, and then 1 episode a week after that. That's how I like it. But you know me, I don't like to binge. I'm realizing more and more I'm like so binge-averse. It's exhausting.
It is way more exciting, I found, to wait week to week, where I'm like, let's watch another episode of Moon. Oh, we can't watch another episode of Moon Knight yet. We have to wait.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's like it's classic TV, but it seems to work better as a model, like we've discussed previously, as far as also keeping them relevant. Where you're like, oh, I have to wait a week for Moon Knight. Not, I got all the Moon Knight. Now we can stop talking about it.
Yeah, I don't even like it that much. But like Obi-Wan is about to do that same thing, right? And the only thing is, I don't know if it is in response to the fact that it was delayed. So are they dropping 2 episodes because it was delayed, or are they dropping 2 episodes because Kyle's got a thing?
Yeah,
clarification.
This is all technically, what's the word? Inference or conjecture, whatever. Sure. But basically, they want to give the crowd at Star Wars Celebration something special, with Obi-Wan being seen there first, and in order to make up for the delay, they'll drop the two episodes. There hasn't been an official this is why, but you can connect enough dots to see it. But they did release other Marvel and Star Wars shows with, more than one episode initial drops.
Okay. Yeah. So everybody's changing, everybody's trying different things, and it seems like Netflix just needs to evolve. It's the bottom line.
Yep. Times change. People
we
change.
Fixed it. We fixed it. You
American
hear that,
Pie
Reed
too.
Hastings? We fixed it. You guys ready to move on?
Yep,
Yes, sir.
All right. I totally fucked up the order. We were supposed to do trailers first. Sorry, Kyle. But we're gonna have a conversation about. We got 2 new trailers this week, just to keep this all going in an orderly train. We'll talk about Love, Death, and Robots first, since we were just talking about Netflix. So we got a trailer for season 3, or volume 3, rather, of Love, Death, and Robots. This is the show from Deadpool 1's Tim Miller. And, if you saw any of that, it's an anthology show, generally animated, sometimes hand-drawn, sometimes computer, sometimes there's live action.
That's all animated. Everything you just
sometimes
said
there's
was
live
animated.
action.
Okay, well, I started talking before he said live action. So
Maybe you should let
now I
people
look like an
finish.
idiot.
Maybe you should let
But
people
yeah.
finish.
I'm just gonna let them do the fighting for me. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. God damn it, Jimmy. Yeah, sometimes you've got live action mixed in. There's one episode that I can think of specifically, and it was with Topher Grace, where they threw in some live action stuff. So we've got 2 volumes of that dropped, and then we've also got the 3rd one coming out. You'll be able to watch it in May. And what I find interesting about this, even at this point, it's a month out. We don't know the episode count. Previously, I think it was like 18 episodes that we got in that first season. The second season, we got 8. There was some information that dropped last year where IGN was saying they thought it was going to be another 8 episodes. And what I find kind of interesting in having this conversation about Netflix, the first volume was pretty highly regarded. It got let's see if I can pull up my Rotten Tomatoes on it real quick. So the first volume got where you at? Come on, move faster. It got a 77% from the critics, but a 92% from the audience. I was probably closer to 92. Volume 2 comparatively got an 85% from the critics, but only a 57% from the audience. And that was probably reflective of how I felt about it as well. It just felt like a different show that was not as fun or interesting or good. Anyway, all that to say, we got a new trailer this week, and it doesn't show you a lot. You get like a mock opening that has Queen's Gambit. They're saying that they're the problem child of Netflix. And this is the sexy, the violent, cool show on Netflix. And so I'm curious, how did you guys feel about the first and second volume? And are you going to watch this? Or are you going to cancel Netflix before you get a chance to see it next month?
I didn't even know there was a second volume, and I didn't finish the first volume. But I did enjoy the trailer where it's like not just Queen's Gambit, but like Bridgerton and like all their like fancies, like 12-time Emmy winner. And then it's
the
like
British accent shows, which Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, really, it is. Like there's also The Crown. Is that a Netflix show? Like they show all of those and they're like 12 Emmys, blah blah blah, and it's like, and now the 0 Emmy winning show that you actually care about. But the style is really cool, and maybe I should go back and watch it before I cancel Netflix, because
you wouldn't like it.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Given what I know of your like the things you like from animation, you wouldn't like it.
All right, I'm not gonna watch
there's
it.
There's a significant amount of sex in there and things that quote unquote make you feel things. You wouldn't. This isn't for you.
Okay, I cede my time or whatever the word is.
I mean, for me, I'm Jonesy.
Yes.
Do I like Love, Death, and Robots?
Probably too cynical
Yes.
for him.
No, I think you do. I think you appreciate the different art styles, even if you don't like what Nick just said, the cynical. It's cynical.
Exactly. I don't like it, but I do like looking at it.
Yeah,
I like looking at it, but I don't like looking at it enough to really dig into. Like the season 1 was like, that's fine. It just felt like a lot of unnecessarily edgy things. It's like sex, gore, death,
and that's what they advertised the new trailer.
Why not? I know. I'm just saying. Yeah, exactly. Like it's just
give me more.
I don't know. I don't I don't care. I don't really need things to be blood, sex, murder for the sake of blood, sex, murder. Like,
No,
give me
I'm with Kyle.
give
Put
me
it
a
in my
nice
veins.
story. Give me a nice story and
Jammer, you
something
suck.
that I'll cry to, and I'll be good. So this is just not my thing. It's the reason like I didn't like shows like, I don't know, like Metalocalypse or even The Boys Diabolical, whatever the fuck it's called, or adult animation in general, where it's just cynical and mean-spirited and just violence.
It doesn't
and
have
blah,
the
blah,
Christmas
blah.
spirit, does it, Jammer? There's no.
Doesn't
Christmas.
have the Christmas spirit. No Christmas spirit.
We don't need that.
No, it's fine. But my point is that the visuals were beautiful. Kind of made me want to check them out for that. And I like the unique art styles because I love the medium of animation. But other than that, I don't know. Like the first season I thought was pretty good. Second season, not as good. Not a lot of hits there. But that's the risk you run with any anthology series like Star Wars. Most of them I didn't like, if I recall. I think there's 2.
You're talking about Visions?
Yeah, Star Wars Visions. So that's just anthology storytelling. And I guess for me, I also just don't like I just don't like experimentational styles for the sake of experimentational styles. I say that I do like it, but at the same time, it's a hit or miss. It all has to be grounded
Jammer,
in a story that I
I've
like.
been bidden to ask you what is Panty and Stockings and why do you like it?
Because it's funny and I think the characters are fun.
What is that? Would I like
so
that?
it's this. Yes, you would, Jonesy. You would.
I feel like
it.
Danny would like it more than
So it's this show called Panty and Stocking with Garter Belts, and it is about two fallen angels who Panty and Stocking, who I forget, they're sentenced to Earth because they were bad and they just have to live there and do shit, and they transform.
Dogma.
And the way, what's that?
I said so. It's Dogma.
Sure, it's Dogma, except with like Sailor Moon style transformations, except on stripper poles and just a bunch of other random shit. It's really funny.
Didn't you tell me you didn't like Kill la Kill for that exact reason?
But Kill la Kill is different. Kill la Kill is different.
Is it?
It is because the sexualization in this is pure comedy, whereas the sexualization in Kill la Kill is like just
get the fuck out of here. I'm reclaiming my time.
Look at Panty and Stocking. Look at Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt.
Danny, what do you think about all this shit?
Wait, Kyle, can you throw up some Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt video in this? Okay, good.
It's already on the screen. It's already on the screen. It's the one where what's her name's covered in brown goop, and there's the transformation scene right now, guys.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Great music, by the way. Really great music. Really great music.
Oh, the music. It's
the music, right? Do you also read Playboy for the articles? You fucker.
Who reads Playboy?
I'm sorry, hustler. You're a hustler, man.
I think you're speaking to the wrong generation here. I don't think any of us grew up on Playboy, or well, maybe Danny. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
British Playboy.
I love the silence. Like the lack of denial is what I love.
That's a river in Egypt, sister.
Love, Death, and Robots, Danny.
I've never heard of this fucking show, but I want to watch it now. Only because you said you like it. The fact that Jammer hates it means I really want to watch it.
It's hit or miss. Hit or miss.
Yeah, seriously, I'd never heard of this show. I just watched that trailer and thought, what the fuck is all this about? Now you guys have just described whatever you called it, season 1, volume 1, whatever it was. Yeah. I'm actually intrigued by it. I've honestly never heard it. And if I've seen it, I've skipped past it on Netflix at some point. I mean, going back to what we were just talking about, I don't watch Netflix very much at all at the moment. So I'm very rarely on there. But I've not heard of this show. I am intrigued to check it out. So I can't really comment other than that. I'm going to watch volume 1 and see if I like it. So I guess I am going back to Netflix.
Yeah. You hear that, Reed Hastings? I got you one.
But I am interested in this Panties and Stockings or whatever. Panties and Stockings.
It's a really funny show. It's done in a really hyper stylized American style animation.
If I buy 2 turtles, that's what I'm going to call them. That's it. That's all I have to say about it. I'm going to call my turtles Panties and Stockings, whatever it is.
All right. You
I did
guys
not
ready
expect to spend this much time on this show. I'm going to say that right now. I thought it was going to be a quick, drive.
He's talking about his show. Not
That was gonna be a quickie?
robots.
Yeah.
Nah, baby. Nah. All right. You guys ready to move on to the this is probably the big fish trailers. I mean, if we spent like what 7-10 minutes talking about Love, Death, and Robots, how much time we're gonna spend on Love and Thunder? Right? So we got the first trailer for Taika Waititi's Love and Thunder. Looks super fun. There's not a lot of lead up that I can do to this. This is the 4th Thor film. I'm pretty sure he's the first Avenger to get 4 films, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's correct.
So-
films.
4 standalones. Yeah. 4 solos.
thanks for clarifying, I guess.
I'm doing it not just for you. There are other people listening here. This isn't all about you,
I care
Jonesy.
about this. I care about
Is there? Is that true, Carl? Do other people listen to the show? We got the stats on that.
We need numbers.
Yes,
we need stats right now.
absolutely. You guys. I'm not going to read the raw numbers because I don't want you to cry. But you did double your YouTube audience over the last 33 episodes versus the previous 3.
Oh,
so
come on,
bravo,
baby. I like it raw.
bravo.
What, you mean all the episodes where hardly any of us were there?
Yeah, well, no. Actually, just since I started producing this for you guys, your stuff has actually been watched
There it
now.
is.
So
There's
welcome.
the real. That's the real thing. It's like, look what I did.
Good job, Kyle. We love you.
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it. Love and Thunder. What did you guys think? What did you guys think? Who wants to go first?
I will go first again. I call it. So it didn't really have like a big moment, and you know how everyone freaked out at Thor Ragnarok with the "Yes, we're friends from work,"
Didn't
but
have a big moment. Yes, it did.
it was hilarious. I mean, the biggest moment is Jane Foster showing up at the end, and
That's
my
the big
sister
moment.
didn't even watch the trailer that far. She stops once the titles roll. Even
Oh,
though
she's an
I told her it
amateur
was
trailer
coming. Even though I
watcher.
told her it was coming, she's like, "Oh, I didn't see that part." Even though my texter was like, "The Guardians are in it, and a new Thor." She didn't even stay for the new Thor, who I saw James Gunn and John Cena making fun of, where it's like, "I see she's stolen my helmet." The whole chrome.
Nice.
But I enjoyed it. It should be fun. I like, you have another rocking like 70s, 80s song. Just like the last one. You got your Taika Waititi flavor.
80s.
80s. I wasn't sure, but I figured. And a lot of people point out a lot of panels that are right from the comics, like them looking at the big dead creature or whatever. And the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff is great. I don't think they'll be in it that long, and they don't need to be. But like where he's like, Star-Lord actually has a positive thing to say that makes sense for once, and like look into the eyes of people you love, and then like Thor is like,
Does it
Blocking
really
the
make sense
Guardians.
though? Thor has no one he loves anymore. They're all
that's
dead.
why he was staring at
Oh.
he's looking at the Chris Pratt's eyes, and he's like, "No, who are you looking at?" And he's like, "Oh, I was just listening." And I also like the idea that he's kind of like doing a Thanos thing, or at least he thinks he is, where he's like, "My heroing days are over." He's like, now these are like farming tools, not war tools. So yeah, not let down at all by it.
That's
It
not a
is
Thanos
weird.
thing. That's just a trope.
I know, but like it made me think of Thanos, especially like seeing his axe in the ground, like Thanos had like a scarecrow with his armor.
So after Thor killed everyone in the universe, never mind. Okay. Anything else?
I am still shocked we got the trailer so late. It was so late. I figured we'd get it after Doctor Strange because maybe
It's coming out soon, right? This movie's coming out like
8
3
July.
months.
July.
8 July.
And this is still the teaser. Most full official trailers are out by now based on movie release date time. And I figured they were keeping it under wraps because Multiverse of Madness would play in, but it looks like this is separate from all the multiverse shit anyway.
Yeah.
So
You guys know me. I prefer to get less. Less is more with trailers. So
yeah,
Yeah.
nice little trailer. That's all I have to say.
who's up next?
I have spoken.
Jammer looks distracted.
No, I'm not distracted. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to talk. So, I mean, I thought the trailer was a lot of fun. I liked the song, the way they use the song. I like they're continuing to find different ways to evolve the character and how I'm actually curious, where's the conflict going to come? How much is he going to be dedicated towards, as Nick said, pulling a Thanos or whatever, trying to become man of peace, and how that's going to play into how the action is handled in the story? Is he going to try to avoid it? Is he going to be fighting his instincts? What's his overall arc going to be if that's his overall goal, is to be a man of peace? That's what I'm curious about, because always you have this conflict between a character, their desires, and their overall arc. And I just wonder what that's going to be for this. Another thing I love, one of my favorite things to come out of this trailer, was a comment from Zach Stentz, who was one of the original co-screenwriters of Thor back in 2010, 9, whatever it was.
2011.
And he did a really fun tweet after the dropping of this trailer. It says, a big way I know Marvel has loosened up creatively since phase 1 is that we proposed Thor riding into battle in his goat chariot pulled by and back in 2009. And Feige and company looked at us like we were nuts. Now they are in the Love and Thunder trailer. And he goes on and says, weird thing about Thor's goats from original Norse mythology is that when he's on the road and gets hungry, he kills and eats them in the evening. Then they magically resurrect the next day and seem totally fine with the state of affairs and keep pulling his chariot. So now that makes me curious if that's going to happen in this movie. But yeah, like, I love the arc that he's going through. It's different for the character, especially when you look back to the first movie where he was like this bloodthirsty barbarian, for lack of a better term, where he was just a warmonger.
He's a meathead.
He was a meathead warmonger.
Yeah.
And now he's lived some things. He's lost everyone he's loved. Well, I guess for maybe Korg. We've seen Korg in several shots in this movie. That's his new bro. That's his new friend that he loves. So I think he's probably going to die because,
I was going to say R.I.P. Korg.
Yeah, R.I.P. Korg. I guess funny. The only thing it has going for it is that it's Taika Waititi's character, and Taika Waititi probably won't want to die because, he's like, I got to get my money somewhere, just from reprising Korg.
In the Buzz Lightyear trailer, I was shocked to hear his voice in that. And please.
You talked about the goat eating scene. It reminded me of the porgs. It made me wonder if we can get a porg eating scene, something like that in Thor, where he eats the goats. Probably not.
That'd be dark, but funny.
Man, so dark. Danny, what do you think?
Yes, sir. I loved it. I thought it was a whole lot of fun. It was a nice palate cleanser. It was just good to watch a trailer and just smile and see happy things and fun things going on and stuff. I do think if we get another one, possibly 2 more trailers, they'll show a little bit more of what the arc could be. I'm tempted to think there's going to be something to do with Jane Foster. That's going to bring him back from, being peaceful Thor, if for want of a better word. Or the song itself, which I love, Guns N' Roses, 1987, by the way, Nick, Sweet Child of Mine, from the album Appetite for Destruction, the seminal classic. That could well be that there could well be children involved. And I'm just clutching at straws now, but that would be something that brings him back and gives him something to fight for, something to hold on to, whether it's Jane Foster herself or her herself becoming pregnant via Thor, etc. So anyway, the trailer itself is super fun. Super fun. I mean, I was in when they announced it, so fuck it.
Yeah, we all were in. It'll be interesting to see if they do the breast cancer storyline or not. And I'm wondering if the main thing I think they'll bring him back is if she's in danger or if New Asgard's in danger because of Christian Bale's. I don't remember the name of his character, but his nickname is the God Killer.
It's Gore.
I thought it was, but I'm like, I don't want to just throw a name out there.
Why not? Never stop you before.
Yeah. Gorthon.
He's trying to be a better person.
Apparently he's trying to mature like Chris Pratt, which I thought was kind of interesting. So you guys have touched on the kind of evolution of Thor. What I thought was interesting is Star-Lord seems to be growing as a leader. And I imagine some of that is due to what he has seen, what happened, the fact that he completely fucked up Infinity War, as well as losing Gamora. So I thought that was kind of an interesting mini arc that we got just within this trailer. And I'm hoping that they expound on that. But I do think it's interesting that we did not get to see Gore. And that's why I'm kind of hoping that we don't get another trailer, because I'm already going to see this.
We're going to.
I know we're going to. But the thing is,
there's
nothing that you're going to show me that makes me want to see this more. And I got it. There are a bunch of people that feel and think differently about it. But for me, I liked seeing Russell Crowe as Zeus. So I'm really curious how I was curious before how he was going to play this role, but it looks like he's just hamming it up and having a good time and handing Russell Crowe.
You just saw him from the back for a split second.
Like lightning.
He's
he's doing like, he's got his arms out. He's got the lightning bolt. I just smacked him. He's got the lightning bolt above his head. Like I got the impression just from the energy in the room, like people screaming and cheering, or what looked like people screaming and cheering in Olympus, and the way that he was moving, he seems very high energy. And so you know what, Jam, you could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'll take that.
Yeah.
But that was my perception of it.
Patrick Stewart not confirmed for this movie. So there you go.
Anyway.
Love to see a cameo from Jeff Goldblum, though.
I like seeing a bored Valkyrie. So, heavy is the head
on the
wears
board.
The crown. She doesn't seem like she is.
I said on the board too, not just bored, but she's on the board. It's like
board on the board.
Yeah.
She seems super bored, and so it's very interesting that she does not like whatever seems to be happening. She doesn't like being a leader, which kind of makes sense based on what we saw of her. That diplomacy and whatever else is going on doesn't seem to be interesting to her. And getting to see Jane Foster as Thor, like everyone seems to be very excited about her guns. So
yeah,
that'll be fun.
It's very exciting. How dare you downplay her guns?
I really just want to see how she fights. Like that.
You're just spoiled because you get to look at your guns all day. You're like, it's just a normal occasion to fucking have big arms.
You're just hating because I'm beating you in our Apple
fortunate.
Competition. You're just upset because I'm beating you in the Apple Watch.
100%. 100%.
Find out next week who won our Apple Watch competition.
You're gonna win. You're gonna win because you got lower goals and you hit them, and because it's based on percentage of your lower goals. And it's not my fault.
You chose to engage in battle without understanding the rules. That's
true.
Not me.
So
that's not a me thing.
I'm working out more and more frequently, and he's winning because he had a lower standard.
I love that you challenged me and you were like, "Wait, how does this work?"
Yeah, that's not wrong. You're right. That's exactly what happened.
Kyle dropped an interesting note, and so I think this could be an interesting path as well. He said that Odin tells Thor and Loki that they were born to be king. Maybe Thor's search for who he is will see him go be king again. I think that's a very high possibility because it seems like a lot of this is about him going to find who he is without the Avengers, without being a superhero, without warring. So definitely being the king. That's one of them.
And if he gave it to Valkyrie and she doesn't fucking want it, I can see him taking it back by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Him just drinking beer at these board meetings.
Well, it's interesting that that's what he wanted, right? So you guys brought up the first Thor. He wanted that. That was going to be given to him by Odin. And he lost it based on his own recklessness. Now maybe we come to a place where, like Kyle said, that he no, this is what I should be doing. This is the responsibility that I'm supposed to have. This is where I belong in the world.
Of course,
finally come circle. Four films, full circle.
Yeah, of course, Marvel's hiding shit. There's one shot where it's him and Korg standing. It's framed for 3 people.
Is it?
So,
Which one?
There's one shot. They're both standing, kind of looking up. And there's definitely a third.
It looks like it's
2 of the same shots.
So not the one where they're looking at like the skeleton. It's the one where he's dressed in the Stormbreaker Thor, the 80s version with the long hair. So he's got the vest and the t-shirt on underneath, and the camera's
the graphic
tee away from them. Yes. Yep.
I love that he's wearing graphic tees now.
Okay.
It's definitely framed for a third person. Maybe they just wanted to hide Natalie Portman for the post credit scene, as it were, of the trailer, but
maybe.
Or what if it's that it probably isn't, but what if it's that one guy from the end of Eternals?
Fox. It's Fox.
Star Fox.
Arrows. I'm sorry. Yeah. Does he have a fox on his chest?
He goes by Star Fox as like a alternate alt. I think that's it. I'll double check.
Something close to that.
Is he Thor's cousin / brother? They're related.
Oh, he's related to Thor and Thanos?
It's Thanos' brother.
Thanos.
Because in the comics, they're both Eternals.
I don't think he's big enough for them to blur him out or to scrub him out. But that's just the first thing.
I don't think anybody likes Eternals, so they're not going to do that.
I mean, this film has been in process long before there was an Eternals reaction.
To be fair, I didn't think anyone liked, Thor: The Dark World, and they made a big deal about that in freaking Avengers Endgame. So
I don't think those two things are related.
I think they are.
I don't think the critical reception to, if anything, I think that it was that, right? They knew no one liked it, and they're like, no, we're going to make this shit essential viewing. They were trolling you.
Plus, I think the writers of the Infinity War movies and stuff did like a rewrite of Thor 2 or something. So they had like a soft spot for that location.
See, there you go.
Maybe I'm wrong.
You guys ready to move on from this this lovely trailer?
I feel like I had one more thing to say. I don't remember what it is.
Oh, come on.
I'm trying to vamp so that I can remember what it is.
You better do it fast. Gotta go fast. Do it furiously.
All right, I'm done.
Do it fast and do it furiously. All right.
I'm done.
I see that segue.
So we've got Vin Diesel unveiling the new title for Fast and Furious 10, and it is Fast X.
Fucking boring.
Which will probably be pronounced Fast 10.
Fast X. Fast 10.
Do you think it'll be pronounced Fast 10, or do you think a lot of people will call it Fast X?
Yes. People are just going to call it Fast. There's a certain segment of our population that will call it Fast X.
Triple X crossover.
Yeah.
Fast Triple X.
Oh my God. Vin Diesel playing we need some Ice Cube. Yes, please.
We need Ice Cube to
along with Ice Cube. Ice Cube comes back and he's like, "You look like somebody I know." And Dom's just like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
By the way, I am that guy too. No, but a lot of people tweeted the same joke, but they're like, "Oh, I was hoping they'd call it Fast 10, your seat belts."
They said it in the Instagram post. They said, "Fasten your seatbelts for Fast 10."
No, but like Fast 10, your seatbelts could have been the title.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying.
I didn't look at the
But he's saying that they made the same joke. Yeah, the joke was already made.
Oh, okay.
It was acknowledged. It was acknowledged by official sources, is what I'm saying.
Okay. I didn't actually read the thing. I just saw the image. Fast
I know you don't read. So
not surprised.
This whole
and that's it. That's the news. So the film is now in production. And that's the news. So we've got a no trailer, but we know what the title is going to be. And I think the film comes out in 2023. So this is the penultimate film in the franchise.
So they say.
Right.
So they say.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all.
Why?
I don't believe it at all. Why? Because this was supposed to be the last movie. Now it's not. That's why.
They should call the next one Fast X2. Just do it. Just lean into it.
They should just call it Final Fantasy X-2 and then leave it.
Fucking hell.
So this film will drop 19 May 2023. That's the news. That's what we got about that.
But that
Anything else?
People, something to look forward to. Yay.
By your dry tone, I know that I can confidently say fuck you.
You didn't like F9 though.
No,
Who, me?
F9 sucked. Yeah. F9 with the last
it's not the strongest film.
Movies
It's not
bad.
the strongest film in the franchise, but that's like saying like, oh, you didn't like the sequel series. Like there are lots of motherfuckers out there that like Star Wars but hate all three of the last movies that came out. So I think that I can weather one movie that I thought was like meh.
Guilty pleasure franchise.
I had
Jurassic
two movies.
World.
No, it's not.
One movie, Hobbs and Shaw, that was an embarrassment. And F9, while better, was still just only slightly better than Hobbs and Shaw.
I don't count Hobbs and Shaw.
Still waiting for two Hobbs, two Shaw. So.
Because you know what Hobbs and Shaw is? You know what Hobbs and Shaw is? Hobbs and Shaw is the Rogue One, except terrible, of the Fast and Furious 4, right? It's the
Rogue One
spin-off.
It's the Rogue One. Yeah.
You don't like, I thought you liked Rogue One.
I like
Rogue One. I like Rogue One. You're crazy.
I thought Rogue One was brilliant.
Rogue One Rogue One is literally just Disney giving a hand job to fans who can't let.
I tell you what. 60% of us disagree with you, so you're wrong.
I don't care. Don't care.
Is this what we're voting
Really
on?
don't
Are we
care.
voting on this now? Jammer.
Me and
have a
Jammer
quorum.
agree on one thing.
Thank you, Nick.
And this
This is
it.
why we needed. This is why we needed a quorum. So yeah, I think that I can weather one mediocre movie in the franchise. I knew that I was not going to like Hobbs and Shaw. So
That was the only one I was interested in.
I thought I was gonna love it. It looked fucking awesome, but then I realized
on
all the
drugs.
fucking awesome parts were just in the trailer, and that was it.
yeah.
That movie was
I'm
too
Black
long.
Superman. I'm Black Superman.
Too long, too furious.
That was the best part of that movie. That was the trailer. Anything else? Anything else you all have to? I mean, actually, I didn't even ask you guys. Do you all even? I know what Danny thinks. I'm not going to ask him. Anybody else? Does anybody have any thoughts, feelings,
It's a title.
consequence? It is a title. It is also a production.
It is.
Look, Brie Larson is in it, so I might watch the trailer.
Yeah, you're gonna watch it. You're gonna watch it.
He said trailer.
You're gonna watch.
I'll
No,
watch
you're gonna watch the
movie.
movie.
I'm gonna
just
watch.
to see.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I'm already
you
in
are.
too deep. I'm already.
I get the feeling that was a
Forehead
threat,
deep.
Jonesy. You're going to watch it. If I have to hold your fucking head against the fucking screen, you're going to watch it.
Clockwork Orange style.
This should be our Dubai movie. I'm gonna come to Dubai, and this is what we're gonna watch.
No!
Should have been for Fast 7. That would have been better.
I agree,
That would have been better.
but I didn't know him then, so it doesn't count.
because it had to place in
2023,
Dubai, Nick. That's why.
You'll be in
Okay,
another
that's what I
country then, won't you?
Not yet. I'll still be in Korea. Oh
That's what
wait,
you meant.
you mean another country from where I am now,
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
what it
that's
is.
what I meant.
but not another country from then.
No.
Yes.
Well,
I want to
I'll
go to
Korea.
Dubai, but like I feel like
It
Dubai
might
is
be
gonna
better.
be like
It might be better when you don't hear Vin Diesel and it will all be in Korean, and that will be awesome. That will make it, maybe that'll make it a better film. It'll all be in Korean.
All their English, all the Hollywood movies
Dubbed.
are in English. No.
Oh, fuck
No,
yourself.
I meant subtitle. I meant subtitle. Yeah.
I want to
I
watch
know. I
it in
just
Korean.
want someone to do. I just want someone to do a Vin Diesel accent or a Vin Diesel imitation in Korean.
Yeah.
What's family in Korean? How do you say family in Korean?
I don't know.
Okja.
I need to look it up.
Just make up a word.
See, this is why we
I'm not gonna
no,
make it
that's-
up. I'm not gonna make
No,
it
no,
up.
I
Nick.
said,
He
I
just
said
made
Okja.
up a
You said
word.
I thought I made it up. We need Tiny here. See,
Oh,
this is why we need
Tyler's
Tiny.
got his work
Please.
cut out trying to get people to listen to this
Hajo.
episode. That's for sure.
Hajo. Hajo.
Is Hajo?
Hajo.
Ajo.
Very nice.
So that's how he
very
was.
nice.
His impersonation
Speak
was
and
like,
learn Korean.
Anyway.
Now say
All right.
what?
I think we should move on to the next story. I
We
think
should
got,
move on
what's
to
the next story?
So the next story is this is a sad story. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse has been delayed to 2023. So the film was initially going to what's going
That
on?
was me crying.
Not how you cry.
The film was initially announced that it was going to come out in April of 2022. Then it got pushed back to October of 2022. Now it is currently going to release in June of 2023. This is incredibly sad news. We'll see what that means. And as
I
of
think it's
right
great
now,
news.
why?
Because
So it
I'm
turns out
imagining
better?
it probably has to do with the production issue. And I know considering how hyper stylized the original one is, and this one promises to be, that they just want to dedicate more time to the aesthetics to make sure that they're not crunching their employees and are still making an awesome looking movie.
Crunch is
That'd be
bad.
my guess. Crunch is bad. Okay.
And the last thing
Okay.
I was going to say is that as of right now, the third film is still on schedule to come out 29 March of 2024. No
Which
word
is cool.
yet
That's
as-
another positive, right?
They're
Like
closer
it's you
together.
get a year apart. You're matrixing it, or you're kill
Unless-
billing it ish.
unless
Why would they do that though? But it's Sony. You're right. They would do that. So,
I mean, if there are
Okay.
prediction issues for one, there might be production issues for both. So
I don't know about production issues. I always thought it was pretty ambitious that they would have 2 movies coming out just a handful of years plus another couple of years, like that rapid succession. It seemed really ambitious, and I'm surprised that they would have done it. So I'm personally I was surprised that it was coming out so soon, especially with another one coming after that. But now that it's pushed back, I'm like, okay, I think it's a little bit more realistic.
Take your time. Get it right.
Yeah.
No way.
Phil Lord and Chris Miller and Lord and Miller, I trust. Those guys are masters of the medium and storytelling. So like, I'm not concerned at all.
Okay.
Agreed.
Danny?
Yeah, I'm with Jam on that one. I'm pretty sure that it's for the right reasons, so I can wait a little bit longer, for sure.
Okay. I am of the same mind, right? Like, I tend to take the same thought process with video games. Like, I know I want it and I want it now, but generally speaking, delays do mean that there is something that needs to be ironed out. So take the time that you need to get it right. And as Jammer brought up, like, crunch is bad. And so anything that we can do to avoid that is good. So yeah.
Apparently,
Disappointed.
unless the title you're talking about is called Halo.
That was
10
delayed
years
for
didn't
15
work.
years. And yeah, it didn't
17,
work still.
17 years.
17 years. It's too many years. That's like that's almost legal.
Well, in Illinois, it is legal where I'm from.
Oh, I didn't really?
Yeah.
17-year-old in Illinois?
17,
That's weird.
17.
I didn't know that was the thing. That's creepy. Why would you bring that up?
You ask.
You brought up
I didn't
legal.
ask.
Illegal.
Listen,
Legal
Michael
was
Bay, you're the one who wanted to bring it up.
Right.
Like you wanted to have a specific section of the show where we talked about like what is and isn't legal, just like Michael Bay in Transformers. You did the thing.
Good point. It's true. That's true.
I try.
I had those awkward camera angles just sidling up the side of a 17-year-old not Spider-Man, Halo series.
Now I need to
Signing up
see that. Now I need to
in
see
the
Spider-Man. Like
I
Miles
just see,
Morales,
like,
just
I
standing
want
over.
to. Well, now I just want a video of like Master Chief, like with his hands on the hood of the Warthog, just like looking at the camera, but inexplicably pouring down his armor.
Who's gonna take you home?
Oh God, is that the song they use in that scene?
That is the song they use in that scene.
I can't
haven't watched the
unsee
movie
it
enough
now.
to know
Stop
that.
it.
John.
That was like one of the first stills
John.
they released.
Was that Cortana?
Oh, Cortana, please.
So just to segue off of Spider-Verse very quickly. So there was, I don't know if you guys watch the show or if you know, the ABC show Blackish just went off the air this week. And after an 8-season run, what they were able to do and what they were able to accomplish and bring to the show was into the airwaves was pretty great. It's a pretty good show. I enjoyed it. And it was a show about the Johnson family. I don't know. Did you guys ever watch it? Did you ever get a chance to see it?
I only watched the first season.
Okay.
I liked it. I just didn't watch more of it.
Okay. I liked it. I got an opportunity to sit and have a conversation with Anthony Anderson and Tracy Ellis Ross.
About
the
I love
show.
Anthony Anderson. Sorry,
He's really
I'm
good.
like really envious right now. I obviously, like many people, grew up watching his stuff, and I'm just like really kind of jealous right now.
I mean, here's what I'm doing. I'm tying it back to, Transformers. I'm tying it back to Spider-Verse as an intricate web of segues. And part of the conversation that we had, he was talking about working with Miles Brown, who had been fan cast at one point as Miles Morales from the Spider-Verse. So I thought it'd be a fun treat for the listeners and viewers to see that clip. So Kyle's going to drop that.
That was the thing. I got called into the principal's office a couple of times for, why did you throw Miles up to the ceiling? Well, that's what I do with kids. I'm sorry. That's what I do with my sons at home. But giving them the opportunity to shine and giving their input was something that we welcomed. They had specific things that, they felt their character should do. They had specific ways that they wanted to dress. And, we all allowed them that input. If it was a little too far off base, we let them know that was off base. And in time, we could probably address that a little bit later. But for the most part, they had great ideas, except for Miles. He would try to improv with Tracy and I. And we look, little boy, okay, look here. I'm going to give you the freedom to always do what you want to do as an actor on this stage. But
not here, not now.
Yeah, not now, not with that. You're a little too green to try to play with us in the improv world. But I respect what you're trying to do. It just didn't fit.
All the dogs in my neighborhood are barking, Jammer.
You should go kick them. You should go kick them to shut them up. So, hope you enjoyed that clip. Watching Anthony Anderson. What? Why are you gasping at me like that?
Kicking dogs.
I played a lot of Call of Duty. They get their necks snapped in that. So, like, I like kicking dogs is like doesn't mean anything to me anymore.
I guys ready? Time I accidentally kicked my dog. So there was a time
Let's
where
cut
I
the
looked
chit
outside.
chat. Let's cut the chit chat a-hole and talk about the unbearable weight of massive talent.
Okay.
Is it hard? Is it hard to stifle it?
It's hard to carry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. It's an unbearable weight in which I carry.
So this film, starring Nicolas Cage, currently has an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics and a 90% from the audience. I'm shocked, right? Like anytime we see like some form of consensus between the critics and the audience, I think that's fascinating. Surprising though, is there is a 68% on Metacritic. So that's an aggregate of a bunch of different services and folks that are reviewing films. It's 67% actually, once I clicked on it, once the link refreshed. So I think that's pretty interesting, but I'm sure we'll get into it and we'll suss out how people should actually feel about it after I read you the synopsis. Unfulfilled and facing financial ruin, actor Nick Cage accepts a $1 million offer to attend a wealthy fan's birthday party. Things take a wildly unexpected turn when CIA operative recruit Cage for an unusual mission. Taking on the role of a lifetime, he soon finds himself channeling his most iconic and beloved characters to save himself and his loved ones. Gentlemen,
Pascal.
who wants to go first?
I will go first.
All right, man. Nick just jumping all over those grenades. Let's do it. Let's hear it, Nick. What are your
America over here?
Spoiler free
With his Thanos shirt. Let's hear your spoiler-free impressions of Unbearable Weight.
I very much enjoyed it. Obviously, a movie about Nick Cage playing Nick Cage I've been excited since they announced it. Pedro Pascal is like my boyfriend these days. I can't get enough. It's either him or Oscar
He open
Isaac.
mouth kisses him.
Yeah, we do that all the time, me and Pedro. But, I was surprised when I got out that it was under 2 hours, including the trailers, because that kind of felt long. As it kind of at a certain point, it kind of transitions from a comedy to an action film, obviously based on the explanation of the synopsis. But I enjoyed it, and you could tell the audience as it went on were laughing less and less. But I was very glad to see it, and yeah, that's all I can say. Spoiler free.
That was interesting review. It was almost like I was really excited for it. It was long, and I was just like, I'm happy I watched it out of obligation. That's
Yeah,
like
what's the sound
review
called?
was.
What's the sound called when an airplane crashes? Like that audible, like that's what it sounded like in my ears.
I mean, I'll buy it on digital or whatever. Probably go to a streaming service for free. I'll watch it again. It's just because the bromance between Pedro Pascal and Nick Cage is so great.
So I have a question before we get into the next part of it. So I actually haven't had a chance to see it, as I mentioned through our chat beforehand, but I'm curious, based on what you said, it reminds me a little bit of how I felt watching Tropic Thunder back in the day, where it seemed like fun and exciting, but then like you're about halfway through, I'm like, oh my God, is this movie still going on? Jesus, are we done yet? And then by the end, I was just exhausted.
The action feels that way a little bit, where you're like, oh,
Does
there's
it?
more to this action scene. I thought they did that and it was done.
Don't you dare disparage Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, seriously. That one I do not feel the same about.
Okay, that's just how I feel. My bad.
Yes, it's just you. God damn.
All right. Calm.
I don't agree with you
calm
this
down.
time. This ain't a Rogue One situation.
Fight you.
Oh my God, Christ. I'm going to go get a beer so I can take this abuse.
Isn't that the opposite? I feel like beer is so you can dole out abuse.
Like Ezra Miller.
Not for Jammer.
Sweetheart when he's drunk.
It seems, Jones, that it's only you and Nick that have actually seen this movie.
Yeah, you
Oh,
probably.
that's
didn't get it
right.
at all,
You were
right?
unable to see it based on
We got
Ramadan.
no access to it. Well, yeah, exactly. Got nothing. We got today Sonic 2.
That's funny. Did you watch it?
No, I'm watching it tomorrow because we're not
Okay.
for the show. Although I have just got the tickets for Dumbledore, which is next week, and Doctor Strange, which is the week after. So we're well behind. Although I think we've got.
But it's funny because I feel like
week.
usually you're like 2 weeks ahead. I feel
So
like
it's Ramadan.
Yeah,
Ramadan.
Usually, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ramadan thing. Yeah, so Jamie, you might have missed that. I haven't seen it either because of the Ramadan.
No, I heard everything.
At the moment, our movies
Here's
are
everything.
way off. We've got nothing going on. So I'm okay with the spoilers. I'm desperate to hear what you guys think overall.
Okay.
So go straight in, Jonesy. Unless you got your initial Twitter thoughts to put out there first for the dear
I do.
viewer.
I'm ready. So my non-spoiler impression of this film was I thought it was really funny. Most of the jokes landed for me. I do think that at the end, it isn't that it dragged on a bit. I think what happened was they described the movie as they went. And because you knew what was coming, it got less interesting. And that,
Yeah, it was kind of meta like that, but
Yeah.
not in a meta way that bothers you like the Matrix 4.
oh God,
We're going back to the Matrix where it all started.
I'm gonna throw my pen at you.
Good luck hitting me that far away.
But yeah,
bitch,
overall,
take it.
overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was very creative, and I would recommend folks go see this. Like, if you have any affinity for Nicolas Cage or his films, or if you like Pedro Pascal, I would say go see this film.
Absolutely.
It just reminds me of the trailer. Like the way I feel about Nick Cage is I don't remember who this was, but they're like, "Have you seen this movie?" He's like, "Bitch, I saw Con Air and the other one, and
Morgan.
Face Off and Con Air."
Oh yeah, the
He's always Morgan to
about
me.
Crudes too.
Yeah, I'm a 44-year-old man. Why the fuck would I watch Crudes too?
Well, who's this?
In the trailer.
That's the guy you're talking about.
Ike
That-
Benowitz.
No,
or
but who
whatever.
was it? Who was he? What's his name? The actor.
Ike Benowitz. I can't pronounce.
He's
his
just
last name.
Morgan to me because I used to watch the Mindy Kaling show, and that was his name on the show.
Oh.
Morgan.
Oh,
It's Ike
Ike
Baranowitz or something.
Barinholtz. Ike Barinholtz.
There you go. Sure.
He's
Yeah.
also
Barinholtz.
like
that
the
was
best
it.
friend in the Neighbors movies. And
So
he's in
he
Blockers.
and Tiffany Haddish play the CIA characters. Wait, are we going to transition to spoilers now?
Sure.
Do
Sounds
it.
like it.
All right. We've transitioned. So yeah, Tiffany Haddish and Morgan. What's his name? Ike
Ike.
Ike
Let's just call him-
Barinholtz.
and Ortina.
I like Ike.
So they play the CIA agents, and they're serviceable. I find that I don't like Tiffany Haddish's acting, which isn't
I don't
good.
think I've seen
Like,
her in enough things.
So
I would
she was in
agree
the
with you,
card-
serviceable.
She was in the card counter with Oscar Isaac, and I think what's happening, what I think is this. Let me say it another way. They keep putting her up against people that act much better than her, and so watching her act with Oscar Isaac, I'm like, no. Watching her
You
act
can't
with
do
these
it.
people,
Yeah.
I'm just like, nah. Like you're. What's the opposite of punching above your weight? I guess is it just getting your butt kicked? Is that what it is? I don't know. But the thing that I think I really liked about this movie, there are two things. Nick pointed out the bromance. I really enjoy that. I think that's a lot of fun. Watching Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal, just like they're lots of fun to watch together. The other thing that I really liked was I don't know what the Phantom Nick Cage. So he had he had a part of him that would talk to him, and he interacts with this ghost of his younger self.
Well, he calls him
And-
Nicky, and he used to go by Nicky Coppola in high school. So it is
Yeah.
like the younger.
So the interactions that they have yelling matches with each other, and they open mouth kiss each other, and just like
Everyone in the
it's
audience
so
is like,
ridiculous.
whoa.
It's
Just like
it's
Pedro Pascal and Nick
ridiculous.
Dahl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
just like
I
that.
almost spoiled it when you said that part.
Um,
They're like, we're great
It's-
kissers.
It's so ridiculous, and I think that that's kind of the thing that I like about this movie is that they were able to be incredibly ridiculous in this movie, and that was one of the elements that was incredibly ridiculous that I really enjoyed. there aren't really a lot of. Oh, and then the last thing that I did like was the meta comment, not even commentary, but the fact that they kept saying like, well, this is what the movie should be about.
Because they're trying to write a movie
they're
together.
going to write a movie. And they just saying, well, what are we going to do next? And what's going to happen next? And so once they say that they're going to write a movie, everything that they say should be in the movie is what starts to happen in the movie that you're watching.
Or even things they say shouldn't be in there, where it's like, it shouldn't devolve into a stupid action film. We need to keep this like a character piece with two best friends. And like in one scene, they're on drugs, they're on acid, and they're like, we should have a drug scene, man.
Yeah. So it's fun. I like it. There isn't, it's weird.
Saying kind of reminds me of Spice World. Did you guys ever watch Spice World?
No. It really reminds me.
Jammer, I am a 44-year-old man. Why the fuck would I watch Spice World?
Hold on. I'll come in on the. I have a younger sister, so yeah, that was in my head. Do you have a younger
sister?
Okay, so you had a sister. Do you guys not have sisters?
I had a younger sister, but I never watched it with her.
Oh, well, it was just on in the house. Danny, you're older. You don't count.
Yeah, you don't count. Wow, old man, get the fuck out of here with your
producer
Danny
Kyle
fucking
out.
loves the Spice Girls. It's got on like his super high top shoes or whatever the fuck they.
No, I'm the older sibling. I'm the older sibling, and everybody does what the fuck I say. So that's how it works in my house.
But anyway,
we're not doing. We're not watching Spice World.
No, but let's say there's a scene where they talked about they're describing things like, oh yeah, the scene, it's really expensive, and then like they use toy cars to act it out. That's kind of reminded me of. Anyway,
it's very interesting. There, it's not
that's
obviously. Even though most people haven't seen it, it's obviously very reminiscent of the interview, like plot wise, where it's like, I'm an actor and I've been hired by the CIA to go take out, Kim Jong-un, and I become friends with him instead. And in fact, there's even a scene where they have the same kind in that movie. They like give him something he would put on his hand when he shakes Kim Jong-un's hand, it would like kill him later. There's a scene with something in this where we'll make him pass out, and Nick Cage touches his forehead. And he's like, oh shit, I just think I touched my forehead. And he's like slowly getting more and more drugged, and they're like you have to climb out the window and like go in the other window. And Ike is like, he's fucking high as shit. He's gonna fall to his death. He's like, you know what that'd do for my career if we killed Nick Cage?
That's pretty fun.
And then he is all passed out, and he's holding the medication to wake him up. And then they get like, Nick Cage, you gotta wake up, Nick Cage. And Timothy Hash is like, action. And he pops up and just like injects himself in the leg.
You know what's funny about that? I thought that they were going to do a Rock reference with that. So in the scene that Nick is talking about, he's lying like prostrate on the ground. And then if you remember the Rock, you remember he had to take that shot of adrenaline, stab himself in the heart with it, like this giant needle. I thought that's what was going to happen. But
in what movie did The Rock do that to himself?
No,
in the movie The Rock.
The Rock.
Nicolas Cage
stabs himself. Come on,
Sorry.
I need you to orient your shit right now. Get your fucking like. I know we talked about Fast and Furious, but get your shit together.
And
like we're here now.
One of my favorite scenes is they're both, the CIA tells him he has to kill Pedro Pascal, and Pedro Pascal's cousin tells him he has to kill Nick Cage. So like they're both driving out into the forest. So like both knowing they're gonna have to shoot the other guy, and they're like trading shoes and stuff. And he has the two golden guns out from Face Off, and Pedro Pascal has his gun, and like, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I love you too much.
Yeah,
and
the bromance was very strong and fun.
His trophy room is fascinating because Nick Cage doesn't even know what the prop is from The Rock. He's like, oh, those are some nice beads, referencing like the the poison gas thing.
No, he knows what it is. He's saying the line.
Oh, okay.
God fucking damn it. You're just as bad as Jammer. He's saying the line from The Rock. He's like, oh, an elegant string of pearls. Like, no, that's the line from
okay. I haven't seen The Rock since last year. So I haven't reached
I haven't seen it Nick in Cage about 20 years. So every
year. So I watch Con Air, The Rock.
Okay,
and,
no,
Face Off.
Don't advertise that if you don't know the lines.
You can't say it. You're like, oh, I watch it every year for the past 20 years, and you don't know a fucking line. Come on, Nick.
I don't know every fucking line in the movie unless I've seen it 10 times
like
in 1 year.
That is a very, and not only. So here's the thing. One, that's a pretty prominent line from the movie. Two, as soon as he says it, Pedro Pascal's like, "Oh, The Rock," like acknowledging the fact that he's saying the line from The Rock.
Okay.
Are we all done?
I just like also, well, last thing I'll say is I love the lead up to that scene where he's like, "Are you sure you want to go through this door?" Because they think the kidnapped girl is there, which is part of the plot. And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Are you sure? Because this will change our relationship forever." And then he opens it. It's just an entire room of Nick Cage shit. And it has that great scene from the trailer where he's looking at this. He's like, "How much of that? It's grotesque." Where he's looking at like the wax figure.
He's looking at the wax figure of Nicolas Cage, and he goes, "What is this? Is this supposed to be me?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "How much did you pay for this?" He's like, $6,000. He goes, "I'll give you 20 for it."
And then Vader's like, "I could never sell that to you."
So yeah, I thought the film was a lot of fun.
Good movie.
Like I would recommend it to anybody. I think that it's a B+ easy.
I would agree completely. B+.
Wow.
I don't want to go too much higher because it, like I said, it did feel like the action went on too long at the end. I thought they were escaped at one scene and there was another, and then there was a car chase and
yeah. I think it goes on for like 15, 20, for like definitely 10 to 15 minutes too long.
yeah.
So like I just found this out. So you guys probably all know this, but my mind was blown when I found out that he named himself after Luke Cage. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know.
Yeah. So Nicholas Coppola, he wanted to change his name and kind of make his own way in the world. And so that's the thing. I mean, that's why he's such a big Marvel guy. That's why he was in Ghost Rider.
Why he wants to be Ghost Rider again or wants to be in the MCU in some form, he said.
Yeah.
I'm sure. He actually, I feel like could be another fucking Celestial or whatever alongside Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. And the
like
Collector, he could be the Grandmaster. Was that Jeff Goldblum? The Challenger is like their third brother that's closest to them.
Oh, okay.
Him or Keanu Reeves would make a great Challenger.
Yeah, I'd be down.
Because they're all so eccentric. And
yeah. I actually don't have a ton to say, but like I feel like with comedies, it's hard to have a super deep spoiler discussion about it. I just enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah,
I think I'm gonna
this weekend.
I think I'm
going
to try to see it this weekend. I think so. I think I'm gonna try. I was planning on it, but this weekend got away from me. This week got away from me. It got away from me.
It happens.
D&D.
Cancel D&D.
I did.
That was
wow, that
you,
busy.
Not because of
that
me.
busy?
No, this week you canceled it.
I didn't cancel it. That was Sam.
Oh, and then you canceled next week. We couldn't do it next week.
I canceled last week. No, next week is right. We're doing it next week.
Okay, good.
No, we don't want to do it. We're doing it in 2 weeks.
I need you guys to work this out on your own. This is
get a room. Get a room.
I don't care.
In 2 weeks.
I don't care about your BDSM or D&D, whatever it is you're doing.
Your stockings and
Same
panties.
We do have a dungeon master, so take it either way you like.
Oh, that's a good point.
Whenever I tell my parents dungeon master, I'm like, that sounds weird. Anyway.
It really does. It says more about you, though, than it does about anything else.
Yeah. Does it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty kinky to me.
That's why we say DM. So
that just makes it confusing.
But anyways, panty and stocking and garter belt. Check it out. With garter belt. With garter belt. Sorry, I sound like an idiot.
Yep.
Just a little bit. Anything else to say about the film we watched or any of the news stories that we discussed today? Shut it down.
Punch the check or whatever. Cut the check.
Punch the check.
Punch the
Why
check.
are you so violent? Jesus
Punch the
Christ.
check. Cut the cheese.
All right. Well, dear listener, if you like what you heard, do all the socials. Like, rate, comment, subscribe, subscribe and share. We definitely appreciate it. Also, LRM has other great content. Where else on LRMonline.com? Part of the GenreVerse network. You got to check it out. It's great. We got other podcasts for you to watch, listen. It's awesome. And you can get those wherever you get your podcasts. Nick, where can you be found?
I'm at Geeky Nick Doll on Twitter, and Kyle and I do Marvel Multiverse Mayhem on Wednesdays usually. No, Thursdays. Comes out on Thursday because we are watching Moon Knight. We are watching Moon Knight right now, people. Fuck you, Chit.
Chit.
I'm silently lamenting whatever that was. Jammer, where can you be found?
You can find me at Chit on Twitter.
Danny, sir, where can you be found?
You will find me wearing stockings and panties whilst watching Love, Death and Robots.
What about your garter belt?
No, that's season 2, volume 2.
Obviously.
And you can find me at Sir Jonesy on whatever social platform, and of course right here on Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast. Folks, as always, thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next one. Hasta lasagna.
Don't get any on ya.
Mission accomplished. Oh my
Fucking
god,
crying
we have a
over
whole
something.
team who can actually do it.
Cried over